Hello, folks. My name's Dave. I am a student information specialist with McMaster Continuing Education. This is our student orientation webinar, and I am going to go ahead and get rolling. I'm sure there's going to be some more people trickling in over the next few minutes, but I will go ahead and get started because we have lots to get through. So thank you for being here. Um, so, a quick land acknowledgement is McMaster University recognizes and acknowledges that it is located on the traditional territories of the Mississauga and Haudenosaunee nations and within the lands protected by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Agreement. So, here's a look at our agenda, what we're planning to cover today. We're going to be talking about benefits of continuing education, doing a learning formats overview, how to plan your studies, how to register, a little bit of information on budgeting your studies, McMaster University platforms. We'll go over some online learning tips and do some myth busting and talk a bit about support services and resources. So with all that to get through, let's get started here. So a little background here is that McMaster Continuing Education, we've been around in some form for quite a while. We were established all the way back in 1931. We're currently located in downtown Hamilton, although everything that we offer at this point is online in some way. It is so you can be living anywhere. You can be living anywhere in Canada. You can be living anywhere in the world, for that matter, and you can take our courses and you can participate fully. Of course, in maybe in a different time zone. There may be it may be challenging timing wise if if your course is in the middle of the night, because our course times, the ones that are synchronous, are structured around Eastern Standard Time business hours and such. But aside from that, if you can get around that, anybody can take our courses from anywhere. So um, I always like to mention on talking about this slide that the Master of Continuing Education, throughout our history, we kind of have this tradition of really lowering the barrier to entry for high quality, post-secondary learning, and saying, hey, you don't need to, show us a bunch of documentation or do like a complicated application process or, check all these boxes in order to take these courses. You can just take them. And, and this is something that we basically still operate on a very similar basis today, where most of our courses and programs have open enrollment, meaning there is no application. And we're not checking we're not checking your documentation or whatnot. You're like, hey, I'm interested in this program. I'm gonna try it out. So yeah, still operating under that principle today, and proud to do so. Um, some of the benefits of continuing education is that we offer relevant skills for today's job market. And you're learning practical and in-demand skills from industry experts. So all of the instructors that we hire are current. Their day jobs are that they are working professionals in their field. So they are current professionals with current knowledge. They are not, sort of locked away in their ivory tower or whatever and don't know what's going on. Yeah, it's really on the ground stuff, and you're getting very current knowledge. We have our courses are flexible. Yeah, they are. Most of the courses we offer are in a asynchronous format, so you don't have to be there at a certain time. I'm going to be talking more about that later. And as I just mentioned, they're online, so you can access them from anywhere. We have multiple start dates throughout the year in many cases. So this helps, offer a good work-life balance. If you're working full-time and you're like, hey, I want to do a diploma, but I only have I can only take one course at a time. That's fine. That's no problem. We're very flexible in allowing people to just do what they want to do. Whether it's, you want to take a bunch of courses at once, you certainly can, if, assuming they're available. And if you don't, if you want to go really, really slow and take your time and take breaks between, that's no problem. You can just do whatever you want to do, in most cases. So. So the courses are designed to fit busy schedules in that way. Um, and yeah, you can see a little quote from a manual there, talking about the contents being comprehensive, rich, current, and very practical. Okay. So, I'm gonna summarize what's on this slide by just saying that, in terms of, because people ask us a lot, like how many people will say if somebody's working full time, like how many courses do they usually take? What I'm gonna tell you is that, most of our courses take 6 to 8 hours of work per week. So that's per course per week. Just estimate about 6 to 8 hours, especially, to really get the most out of the course. And I'm sure there's going to be some weeks where you're not going to have to spend that much time, but depending on the course, depending on you, there might be some where you have to spend more than that in certain weeks. So it's just, it's an average, right? And it's hard to account for, all the different learning styles out there and whatnot. But that's a good sort of average to assume, and then just look at how much time do you have, and yeah, what can you realistically do? We usually recommend, like, people like to get through programs quickly, just get it knocked out, get it out of the way. And But we usually say, hey, like, if it's your first time taking our courses, maybe it's your first time doing schooling in a while, it's a good idea to maybe like just get your feet wet by taking like one course, maybe two courses at the same time, even if you're not that busy, just to see how that goes, because maybe it's going to, take you longer than you expect to sort of get into it. So, yeah, don't feel obligated. In the most cases, most of our programs don't have deadlines for completion, or if they do, they are pretty reasonable ones that allow you to take breaks in between, and you don't, need to be on any kind of full-time schedule or anything like that. So, yeah, so don't feel rushed, basically. And But then again, on the other hand, if you do want to get through it quickly, we, often provide the option to do that if you have the time and finances to sort of pile up, all your courses at once. Um, so, I'm going to talk about learning formats, and this is a really important one. Okay, so all of our courses that we offer are delivered in one of these three formats that you see on the screen right now. Um, so you can kind of think of this as a spectrum, between, starting from virtual classroom being the most interactive format, all the way over to online self-study, which is the most independent learning format. So, now I'm going to say that really the vast majority of courses that we offer are exclusively offered in the online format, so the middle one. So I'm going to explain online first. Online is asynchronous, so there's not going to be any element of this course that absolutely requires you to be there at a certain time. There's not going to be lectures. There's not going to be, a thing that you like, a quiz or something that you absolutely must be there for, like at a certain time. But what it'll say is, a quiz is due at by 11:59 p.m. on Sunday, and you have to make sure you log in sometime in the week before that to submit the quiz. Something like that, just as an example. Okay. So you get to kind of set your own time, set your own schedule, and just make sure that you are meeting the deadlines. Online courses, they often consist of, now the instructor may post a video of themselves talking. They may or they may not. They may post some other multimedia. Here, check out this video, or this interesting presentation that's on this topic. A documentary. They may say, here's some reading. Here's, this or that, right? Go read these pages out of a book or whatever, right? So it just all depends on the course, but and there tends to be interactive elements. There tends to be a lot of courses feature discussions where you post in like a comment, like a text comment thread, discussing a certain a certain part of the reading or the course material with your classmates and so on. Um, so that's why it says their weekly interaction with the instructor and peers. That's a typical feature of online courses, but it is asynchronous interaction. The only time there may be a synchronous element is, let's say maybe there's a group project or something, and you're talking with your group members and agreeing to meet virtually at a certain time. In that case, there would be like something you need to be there for a certain time, right? But that's kind of under your control to do that. Yeah, and sometimes some instructors may say, "Hey, we're going to have like a meet and greet or a discussion," but it would not be something that's graded. It would not be mandatory to attend. It would just be something that's like, "Hey, you can come to this if you can make it. If not, no worries." Okay? So that's online, and the majority of our courses, again, are offered in that format. Okay. Now, I'll quickly go over the other two. These are offered for some specific courses, and you're going to see when you're looking at our courses that they're labeled with one of these three things. Okay. So virtual classroom is just what it sounds like. It's you meet at certain times to attend classes, to attend virtual lectures. And there's going to be also some of the same types of things, maybe discussions, stuff like that. Kind of some asynchronous elements to it as well. But it does have that synchronous element where it's going to say, hey, you're expected to attend lectures at, say, whatever time it is, 6:30 to 9 or something like that on Wednesday evenings or something like that. Okay. And I will mention these lectures are recorded for later viewing. And we do get the question all the time, well, if they're recorded, can I just watch them later? We highly do not recommend planning to do that as your main way of interacting with the course. And the reason for that is that there's often graded participatory elements that are going on within the lectures. So you'd be missing out on some grades there. And on top of that, the course is just designed from the bottom up to be this more interactive experience. So you'd kind of be missing out on the spirit of the course. There may be some other reasons too that I'm not, that are particular to specific courses that I don't know off the top of my head. I just know that it is not recommended to just plan to watch the recordings and because you can't make the class time. So if you see virtual classroom is going to be at times that you regularly are not going to be able to get to, or that you can only attend half of it or something, I mean, at the end of the day, it's your choice. But we just would recommend against doing that because you're not going to get the intended experience. Okay. So at the other end of the spectrum, there's online self-study. Online self-study is very similar to online. It is totally asynchronous, but the difference with this course, this type of courses that it offers a little bit more flexibility in how you approach it. So these courses are longer than usual. They have a longer maximum duration time. But if you want to, you can finish it faster than the maximum duration time. So you can turn assignments in early and get through it faster than you might be able to, say, an equivalent course that's in the online format or the virtual classroom format. So like if you're here for accounting courses, for example, accounting courses tend to be offered in both virtual classroom and online self-study. So those two options, and the normal duration of virtual classroom courses is accounting courses is about 12 weeks. So like roughly 3-ish months. But you can get through online self-study accounting courses in roughly 8 months, roughly 2 months, if you play your cards right, basically. So that's what the difference is between all these, and that's how they are laid out. Oh, I will just say for online self-study, sometimes people ask, let's say it runs for 5 months or 6 months. I'm going to be busy for the first 5 months. Can I do it all in the last 1 month? And the answer is no, you cannot do that. You do have to keep up to a certain extent. So there's going to be, at some point, a few weeks into the course, they're going to be like, okay, first assignment is due here at like this deadline, and you can't hand it in later than that, but you probably could hand it in earlier. That sort of thing. Okay. So that's how those work. There's more details about this on our website. On every program page, we've got a right-hand sidebar with some links, and one of the links is learning formats. You click on that, and you're going to find more detailed description of all of these on that page. So please go and check that out if you would like to know more, and reach out to us if you have more questions. Okay, so here's a big one, how to register. So the great thing that I am happy to let you know is that this is very simple, and it's actually even simpler than our language here on the side would seem to indicate. Because, like I said, the vast majority of our programs, so there's two programs that do not have open enrollment. Those are health informatics and professional addiction studies. If you're interested in either of those two programs, then there's information on the program page that's explaining exactly how exactly what is required to apply for those, and hopefully be accepted. But if you're looking at anything else that we offer, it has open enrollment. There is no application. So here's how it works. Let's say you're looking at, we talked about accounting. Let's say you're talking about full stack development, okay? And you're interested in full stack development. You're looking at a course in full stack development, and you're like, yeah, I want to take this one. You're gonna put that course in your cart on our website, and then you're gonna click on your cart, and you're gonna go proceed to checkout, and then if you have never registered for courses with us before, you'll see there's an option comes up on the screen that says, hey, sign in here with your account if you have one. If you don't have one, create a new account, and then you can create a new account if you're new, and just follow the steps. And once the account is created, it's gonna go through and let you finish the transaction, and that's it. That is all that you have to do. And after that, you're gonna get some emails that talk about what you need to do in order to complete your account creation and whatnot. But it's very straightforward. It doesn't require sending us anything or whatever. So the reason that we have this information here about Ontario Secondary School and mature student and so on, what this is saying is that we expect, like, our programs are designed with the expectation that the people taking the courses are probably going to have like a high school education, and even if you didn't finish high school, you'd be considered a mature student if you've been out of school for a couple of years. Maybe you have some work experience or life experience, whatever. And then the English proficiency piece is saying that we expect you to have strong English skills. If you're concerned about whether your English skills meet the criteria or not, there is a link you can find all over the place on our website that goes to a specific McMaster page that has test scores listed on it, and you can see if your test score matches that test score, if you're not sure. But I think in most cases, people kind of have a good sense of what their English level is, especially if you've worked in an English environment or studied an English environment, etc. And if you know that you're okay, then you can go ahead and enroll in our courses without, you don't have to worry about any of that. And open enrollment courses, again, they don't ask you for anything. They don't ask you for documentation and so on. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward. Okay. So let's talk about financial assistance. So one of the questions that we get most often is, hey, can I get OSAP for this? The answer is no. At least for the vast majority of for our courses and programs, we're not able to accept OSAP payment for our courses. However, there are a whole bunch of alternatives, as you can see listed on the screen here. I'm going to go through these quickly, what they are. The McMaster Association of Part-Time Students, or MAPS bursary, and McMaster Continuing Education Award. So if you go to If you go to the help section on our website, you'll find that there's a link there that goes to, or maybe under support services, sorry. But yeah, you go to under support services, you find a link to the finances page, and it's going to have all this information and links to where you need to go to like start getting rolling on this. But this top option is one of the ones that I recommend the most often because a lot of people ask about OSAP, and this is similar to OSAP in terms of its eligibility requirements, like it's along the same lines. However, this one you don't have to pay back. It's an award. It's a bursary, right? So don't worry about the name, by the way, about it saying part-time students. And if you're thinking, well, what if I'm taking a full-time course load or something? Don't worry about that. That portion doesn't apply really to continuing education students because it's two things. And the McMaster Continuing Education Award is the thing that continuing education students potentially qualify for if you meet the other qualifications that they have, right? So that is one to look at. I won't go into too much more detail about it here, but I encourage you to check that out if you were thinking if you had OSAP in mind for our courses, and then I suddenly threw a wrench in your plans by saying no, we can't take it. Check that out. But also there's other stuff that might apply to as well, right? So there's some Canadian/Ontario government funded programs like Better Jobs Ontario, which is a thing that you can get if under certain circumstances, like if you've been laid off from certain industries and whatnot. It's actually the current version of a program that had been around for a long time. It was better known called Second Career. That's now Better Jobs Ontario, and that's what that is. And it's kind of along similar lines for the eligibility. So that's something that you can check in with Employment Ontario service providers, which, we have a bunch of those locally. And, depending on where you are in Ontario, you may find them running out of like your local YMCA or different organizations like that have these designated Employment Ontario offices who will have people that can help you with a Better Jobs Ontario application. Okay. And there's also the Canada Ontario Job Grant, which is a thing that you do through your employer. So basically, your employer says, "Hey, I need government funding to train somebody, and if we have a course that matches up with their training needs, then it may be just the match that you need, and you can get funding that way. So that's a cool one too. Windmill microlending is loans for skilled immigrants and refugees. So we get a lot of people coming to us saying, "Hey, I'm an immigrant, or I'm from, whatever, right? I have this training from from another place, and it's not recognized here, and I'm working on it, and blah blah blah." Right? There's lots of stories like that. So we have Windmill Microlending is a organization that we have a good relationship with, and they offer loans for people in that kind of situation. So that's something that you could look into as well if that sounds like something that may apply to you. And another option that we recommend is just if ask your employer. If you're employed, if you are lucky enough to be in a situation where you have an employer that sometimes funds training, it never hurts if it never hurts to ask and find out. Maybe there's a program that you don't know about or whatever, or they'd be willing to try something new. But yeah, this is the thing. Often tuition costs might be a drop in the bucket to your employer, right? So it can be very valuable for companies to get existing employees trained on certain things. Increase your job satisfaction, increase their retention. I mean, you can make lots of arguments for it, right? But yeah, and then you can also just pursue traditional lines of credit from your bank or whatnot, etc. Okay. So Avenue to Learn is the main platform that you're going to be using. So what happens is if we rewind to that bit where I was talking about when you register for courses, typically most courses we offer, they're offered through Avenue to Learn. If they're not, you'll be, you'll receive instructions otherwise. But yeah, in most cases, for our courses, what you're going to do is once you've registered for a course, you're going to get some emails afterwards. They're going to say, hey, you need to activate your, if you're a new student, they're going to say, you need to activate your Mac ID. Activating your Mac ID is the thing that allows your McMaster email address to be used as a login for Avenue to Learn. And Avenue to Learn is the platform where you access your course content. It's where you're going to turn things in, interact with your peers and your instructor and so on. Okay, so the way that works is the emails that you get that give you instructions, you're going to follow the instructions to activate your Mac ID, and then it's going to be like, okay, cool, great. Here, go to avenue.mcmaster.ca. It's going to provide that link. You go, and then you press, log in, and you put in your information. Your login information for Avenue is always your full McMaster email address. So my name is Dave Beatty. So my, thing was, if my McMaster email was BDD or whatever at McMaster.ca, then I would put that in as my username, and then your password is going to be the one that you would have set up by this point in the process. And that is your basically it's your login for most McMaster platforms. I'm going to talk about a difference with Mosaic in a second, but this is the main platform that you use. You're going to use this for just participating in your course, bottom line. Okay. Now the other system, just circling back here to Mosaic, this is an important admin platform. So this is where you do administrative stuff for your account. So once you register for a course, you're going to, as soon as you're registered, as soon as you're enrolled in a given course or courses, it's going to show up here in Mosaic. I want to point out quickly, because this does confuse some people, is that just the way our system, or the way we do things, is that you don't see your courses right away in Avenue to Learn. So you're kind of pointed to Avenue to Learn because that's the main thing you're going to have to use to take your course. And then people will log in, but maybe their course doesn't start until next week or whatever. And they're like, oh, hey, it's not there. I don't see it. And then they panic. Well, the thing is, the courses don't show up here until actually the business day before their start date. Okay. So you're gonna log in if you've logged in before then and you're like, I've paid, what the heck, where is it? Well, that's why. It's just they're not supposed to show up yet. However, if you go on Mosaic is like the database that is central for all McMaster students, for staff. This is kind of the main database where everything happens. All the the finances and the records and stuff go through this. So you can log into this to always check, like, okay, did this enrollment work? Am I in these courses? You'll be your grades get uploaded to this, final grades for courses within 2 weeks of the course ending. And then when you go to, say, order a transcript later, this Mosaic is the database where it pulls that information from. If you choose to complete a program with us and you're like, hey, I want to do the accounting diploma, if you finish all the courses towards the diploma, this is where you would log in when you finished all those courses, and you would go in and say, yeah, I'm ready to graduate now. And there's some buttons in here that let you do that. This is also where you change things like your contact information, and some things like that. So basically, this is the admin database where all that kind of stuff happens. And I just want to mention, for logging into Mosaic, your username is just a bit different. So instead of being that username at McMaster.ca, just get rid of the at McMaster.ca and just put in everything before that. So for example, if my Mac ID was BDD at McMaster.ca, I would just put in BDD for my username here, and then the password is the same. Okay. So that's how that works. And that's what those two different platforms are and what they're for. So let's cover then some quick online learning tips and then do some myth busting. So I'll go through the tips first. So a good idea is to explore Avenue to Learn before your course starts. So if you're enrolled a little bit ahead of time, it's a good idea to even though I just told you that your course content isn't going to be there until it starts. Log in ahead of time anyways and just poke around a little bit. There's not going to be a ton for you to see, but you're going to be able to at least kind of get the lay of the land and kind of see how Avenue to Learn kind of works. And get the idea. But really, more importantly, if you're a new student, you actually really do want to log into Avenue like a day or so ahead of time because it takes a day or so for Avenue and Mosaic to talk to each other. It's like an overnight process that runs. So basically, if you're new and you register on the same day and you register on the same day that your course starts, then you may have a little bit of a lag period before you can access of one day before you can access your content, which is usually like for online courses, that's not even going to be a problem, but it's just something to know. Okay. So basically just log into Avenue ahead of time. Just make sure that and also a good idea to make sure that you've got your Mac ID activated and everything as well. You want to make sure that works. You don't want to be surprised on the first day of class, right? Okay. Review course outlines and schedules beforehand. So yeah, it's a good idea. I mean, before you even purchase your course, go ahead and have a look at the course outline. Look at it in detail if you have the time. It's a good idea to make sure that you know what you're getting, right? And that it's a good fit for you. The course outlines are reasonably detailed with what the course involves. You can see what the evaluations are going to be, how they're weighted, stuff like that. So. It's just helpful for your information and for your making the best decision for yourself. And program pages they also all have a schedule tab so you can look and see like, okay, here's what they're going to be offering. Like it's not open for enrollment yet, but you can click on the schedule tab and see, oh, okay, in the spring summer term this year, they're going to be offering like X, Y, and Z course, and you can, plan what you're going to do. So that's just talking about like planning your time management approach. That's sort of in that broad, macro sense of planning out the whole program and also just on a week to week basis. It's a good idea to sort of block out some times in your day to be like, okay, or in your week, right? This is when I'm going to do it. I'm going to do my work on Thursday nights or whatever it is, right? We also recommend setting up a dedicated study space, and of course, not everybody has the luxury to be able to do this, right? But if you have the space in your home or wherever, it's a great thing to be able to. Just say you don't need that much space, just like a little corner, and it's like this is my corner and this is what I do my schoolwork when I sit here, right? And that can help, that can, that's a it's one of those skills that is kind of a required skill that you don't really have to think about too much when you're doing traditional in-person learning, right? Because you're always going to a classroom or some kind of dedicated space to do that. But with this, you kind of have to make a little niche for it, make room for it in your life. And it really helps to do this. I can say this as somebody who works in kind of a hybrid work from home situation now, is that, yeah, it's very, very helpful to be able to do that and, get in the right mindset for doing your work and stuff. And our last tip here is just to review online etiquette best practices, which is really just talking about keeping in mind, standard practices for online stuff like, the kind of thing, making sure that if you're not automatically muted, like muting yourself in a group call, so you're not interrupting or, coughing or whatever, that kind of thing while your instructor is trying to talk or things like that. So just keeping in mind stuff like that is a good idea, especially if you're not used to, if you're not used to like doing this kind of thing. Um, and just to address some common myths about online learning. So a lot of people just think like, well, I'm not going to have any support online. Or I'm not gonna, the quality of online courses is not the same as in-person courses. And I kind of wanna address like all these myths together because they're all kind of interconnected, right? So the thing is, first of all, I'm gonna say right off the bat, of course, it's what we're offering is not going to be for absolutely everybody. It's true. Not some people are just like I need to do in-person learning, like that's how I do things, and they know that about themselves, and that's fine. That's okay. But what we do want to say is that online learning is ends up being a better fit for more people than they often expect because we've been doing everybody kind of knows that a lot of courses like got sort of moved online during the COVID pandemic and whatnot, and there's kind of mixed results with that, I guess. We've been doing a lot of our courses online since before the pandemic. So these online courses are not something that just got, hastily thrown together or, something, adapted from in person or whatever. In many cases, they are courses that have been developed to be online from the ground up. We've been in this game for a long time. We've been doing, online courses as like a significant portion of our offerings for a long time now. And we, and we have, yeah, we're doing a great job at it, and we get a lot of very positive feedback from our students about the quality of the courses, about the just the way it's set up and everything. So to address some of this specifically, you do have support online. The part of the instructor's job is to be reasonably available to answer your questions. So they're going to have contact information, and that's why, I mean, well, aside from grading, that's why there is an instructor and why they're called an instructor, not like a grader or something. They are there to help walk you through this. So while they may not be doing lectures, they are there to teach you and answer questions, right? And then going back to that piece about quality, like is it a different approach? Yes. Is the quality lower? No, it's not. Our courses that are trying to be that are designed to be like fit within an academic framework are approved by the main McMaster University as being at the same level as normal undergrad courses that they offer in their degree programs. And so many of our courses, if you see a course that says 3.0 units, like has a yellow label on it, says 3.0 units, that means that it is an academic course. It is worth the same academic weight as a typical undergrad course. And that means it can be used for transfer credit into undergrad programs at McMaster University or elsewhere. And in terms of, in other aspects of the quality, like I said, it's something we've been doing for a long time. These courses at this point, I think most of them are developed from the ground up to be online and not some sort of, transformation from an in-person to an online course. So yeah, we are confident in the quality of them. And that last idea of I won't have a chance to network with my peers. Well, you do have the chance, like we mentioned. Many of them have these organized discussions, but on top of that, in many cases, these courses kind of are what you make of them, right? Like you can choose to, maybe you see somebody talking about in a discussion that they're like, yes, in my job as a blah blah blah, I do this, and you're like, hey, that's the career I want to get into. I'm going to message this person and say like, hey, can I talk to you or get some advice about this? I mean, it never hurts to try, right? You can get the most out of, like, you can get what you are willing to make out of these courses, basically. And I've done online courses myself. And that was the kind of experience that I had that I really appreciated because I was able to network with my peers and like build some friendships out of it and relationships because we really enjoyed like the subject matter and bonded over that. So Yeah, so that's kind of covering that, and I hope that that maybe helps clear up some, can address some concerns that some of you may have had. So I'm just going to very quickly go through these career resources and networking opportunities. So continuing education students do not have, 'cause a lot of people do ask this is, can I use like McMaster campus resources for career and whatnot? Those unfortunately are not made available, like sort of standard career offices are not made available to McMaster continuing ed students specifically. But you can't, we do have a lot of community resources that we can point you to. So one of those is the Employment Ontario Service Centers, which is that thing I was talking about a bunch of slides back, talking about Better Jobs Ontario. And here locally in Hamilton, we have the Immigrant Working Center, which is a great, basically, if you are somebody who doesn't have permanent residency yet, and you're an immigrant, maybe on on some sort of visa, whatever, they are an office who can help you with like employment stuff as an alternative to the Employment Ontario service providers. And there's small business centers as well. So we have you can see the link there. We have a page on our website that deals with this specifically and kind of goes into more details. And then as I was just talking about before, kind of off the cuff, yeah, the networking and job offer, the primary one that we recommend is just taking advantage of your instructors and your peers in terms of like their connections and the connection that you are making to them throughout your studies. And there's also some ministry funded programs such as the ADAPT program. We also have this connection with Ripen remote internship program. So what that is if our most of our programs do not offer an internship opportunity by default. Like I was emphasizing earlier, we're really aiming to be kind of a global offering here. So it's and very very flexible, very online and kind of asynchronous. So that's kind of what our emphasis is. But for people looking for internships, the way Ripen works is that every semester, they look at all of our program offerings and they try to find as many internships as they can for that match our offerings, that match like our what courses we have, and then they let us know here are the internship opportunities that we were able to find, and here's what courses they connect to, and then we connect, and then basically anybody who is registered for those courses is going to get an email saying, "Hey, just so you know, there's an internship opportunity connect like for that's appropriate for people taking this course, taking this program." And then so basically, if but it changes every term. So it's like if you qualify, you qualify, and you're going to get an email for it. Well, sorry, if your course qualifies, and then you actually have to apply for it and like be the one that gets chosen. But basically, that's how that works. And Devant is another partnership that you can look into on our program page. Don't have the details about it off the top of my head, but look into that on our website if you want to learn more. So just to mention that the if you're local to this area, there's lots of community services and tools to help you if you're looking for mental health resources. This is something that we want to encourage people to get support with if it's needed. So while it's not, again, yeah, there are some resources through McMaster that you can look into, but then there's also like local based stuff as well. So again, if you visit the support services section of our website, this is something that you can learn more about and find links and so forth. Just a quick note on writing services is that one main campus facility that is offered to continuing education students is writing services. So you can direct inquiries to writing@mcmaster.ca to get basically one-on-one appointments to get support with your writing. And to be honest with you, it doesn't necessarily have to be writing for your like direct assignments. It could be something kind of related, like, hey, I gotta write this like email to my instructor or something, and I'm kind of like, I don't know, I'm in my head about it or something like that, you know. It just can be different. I think it's really helpful to have a human angle on what it is you're trying to say. That can and I like to say in this modern time that we live in that that can still be very helpful as compared to something that is automated, something that is machine based, right? Because a human being understands, the broader context beyond. It's like, hey, maybe they might tell you something like, hey, like maybe what you need to write is like something completely different and approach this from a completely different angle. You never know. It's just that kind of human touch can be really valuable. So anyway, just letting people know this is something that you can avail yourself of if you want. So whoops, sorry, I'm gonna go back to this. So just talking about ways to get help if you are struggling with something. The first point of contact for most things, like if you're having trouble with something like, oh, I can't submit my assignment, or I have to, I'm sick and I'm going to miss my test or something like that. Anything that sounds like anything like that, your instructor should be your first port of call. That should be the first person that you reach out to and let them know what's going on. And there's always going to be as I have mentioned, there's always going to be contact information for your instructor in every in avenue for your course, like in the section where your course is. And if you're having a tech issue, so maybe you can't even log into Avenue to Learn to look up what your instructor's contact information is. Well, the first thing you should be doing is contacting UTS, McMaster University Technology Services. That's our IT department. You go to their website and go to contact, and they have a few different ways to contact them. I'll let you know. The fastest way to get in contact with somebody is the live chat, which is automated by like you're going to get bot responses at first, and it's going to be filtering down what your needs are. And then if like none of its standard suggestions are helping you, then you'll get assigned to a human agent, and they're going to be able to help you. And they are, extremely competent in dealing with like every kind of issue under the sun. So you can have a lot of confidence reaching out to them. They're going to be able to fix whatever it is. And there is a specific support desk at UTS, like on the UTS website, that is for Avenue to Learn as well. So you can find that, and that's also linked to from the Avenue to Learn login page as well. And then the McMaster Continuing Education Information Specialist team, that's me. That's me and my colleagues. So you can use the contact form on our website and reach out to us. And we can, if you're not sure who you should be reaching out to, or I don't know, you just got some generic miscellaneous question, and you're like, I don't know who I'm supposed to send this to. Just send it to us. Just send it to the contact form. We are checking that continuously. That's pretty much our whole job, and we will get back to you or send you off to the right place that you need to be. And that's the URL for that continuing.mcmaster.ca/contact. And there are some helpful links on the right there. I want to shout out especially that bottom one, your student journey. If you're on a computer right now, or if you have the opportunity, maybe like just open that one in the background and bookmark it for later, because that is a very good page. It kind of summarizes the enrollment steps and what you have to do to register. It's a good roadmap page to sort of go back to if you're in the middle of registering and you get lost somewhere. So yeah, that's it's helpful. Thanks again for coming, and I hope everyone has a great rest of their day. Happy New Year. And take care, everyone. Take it easy. Okay, bye now.